Oh no! It's on fire!
The shock and horror of last night.
They were just screaming, "Sweet Jesus, help me, I'm gonna die, oh my God, I'm gonna die."
I saw that happen, and that's when I dropped everything and ran.
Has tonight given way to sorrow and the difficult task of recovery that isn't over yet.
It's intense, very meticulous process.
And as the search for answers unfolds, we're live with new information on the victims of this air disaster. You're watching NBC 12 News at 11. I'm Mike Valerio in the Breaking News Center.
And I'm Curt Autry live in Caroline County at the command center tonight, where this community is so grief-stricken at this point. The organizers of the Mid-Atlantic Balloon Festival have vowed to never have it here again. Earlier tonight, sources did confirm to NBC 12 that search and rescue teams recovered the remains of balloon pilot Dan Curt, known to his buddies as Captain Curt. NBC spoke with his dad, who called this, quote, a freak accident, saying his son was always very cautious. Also recovered, associate head coach of the women's basketball team at the University of Richmond, Ginny Doyle. And at first daylight tomorrow, crews will resume their search for Natalie Lewis, the 24-year-old director of basketball operations at the University of Richmond. Now, for 40 years now, in Albuquerque, New Mexico, they've held a world-famous balloon festival that generates millions of dollars for the community. Organizers expected a similar outcome here, and of course now, that will never happen. NBC 12's Chris Thomas talked with organizers, as well as a local family who unknowingly found themselves at ground zero of this disaster earlier today. Chris?
Well, they could not believe their eyes, Curt, and event organizers have decided to refund everyone who bought tickets for this event, and that's really just the beginning. Watch.
You know, it's just so sad. I feel so sad for all of them.
Gwen Owens watched in disbelief, and this morning she got the disturbing news.
They said about 700 meters that way, that's where the body was.
2 of the 3 victims from this tragic hot air balloon accident found near her home. NTSB agents now converging on her property.
I'm just so amazed at these people who could get through this mess, because those are briars and blackberries and just terrible things back there.
We learned in this news conference the remains were found 1,500 yards apart.
You know, it's just a terrible feeling comes over you when you see something like that.
Greg Hicks with the Meadow Event Park says after this tragedy, they've decided to discontinue the event, and they're setting up a fund for the victims' family. Will you all be making an initial donation?
Yes, sir, we will. And we're not sure how much yet, but that'll be decided over the next several days.
You feel like you got to do something.
Absolutely, we have to do something. Whatever we do is not enough, but we have to do something.
All I can feel is just the tragedy. Just the tragedy. You know, my heart goes out to the people who've lost their loved ones. And the fact that, you know, all of these people are here doing their jobs to hopefully prevent things like this happening again.
Back here live, we mentioned that refund. We're told at least 4,000 people bought tickets for this weekend. In this case, that's at least $80,000 they're planning to refund. The event organizers tell me, though, it's not about them, Curt. It's about the families, as you can understand.
All right, Chris, thank you. Now, understandably, the University of Richmond has been hit especially hard by this tragedy, and it couldn't come at a worse time. This is graduation weekend on campus when everyone should be celebrating. NBC 12's Ashley Monfort was on campus today, where the pomp and circumstance has given way to grief.
We're here at the Robins Center, where the women's basketball team plays their games. Now, I was told by several student athletes they learned about the staff members' deaths earlier this morning. Now, just before their deaths, Coach Ginny Doyle posted to her Twitter page about how excited she was for the day. Early on Friday, University of Richmond Associate Head Coach Ginny Doyle posted this photo with Director of Basketball Operations Natalie Lewis in the basket of a hot air balloon. It's not clear if this is the balloon the women were riding in during that crash. Then, before takeoff on Saturday, Coach Doyle posted this photo. It says, "Getting ready to go up." Now, the beloved team staff members are believed to be dead, along with the pilot of that hot air balloon. At the U of R campus on Saturday, people were just finding out what happened.
I feel really bad for what they're going through.
Chandre Jones is a freshman on the basketball team. His message to the team is simple.
I hope they just stay together, stay strong, stay unified, and just pray.
The family of Natalie Lewis released this statement saying, quote, "The search continues for our beloved daughter, and we remain hopeful and ask for your continued prayers." According to Natalie Lewis's Facebook page, she had just gotten engaged several weeks ago. That's the latest at the University of Richmond. I'm Ashley Monfort, NBC 12 News.
Thanks, Ashley. University of Richmond President Edward Ayers released this statement, which reads in part, "Ginny and Natalie's leadership and friendship will endure in the lives of so many. Counselors are being made available to both faculty and staff there on campus." Now, even though, as I mentioned, it is graduation weekend there, the sporting events do go on. In fact, there was a full slate of sporting events, but surprisingly, to some anyway, they've all been canceled. Matt Estreich continues our team coverage with more on how the Spider spirit is really taking a hit this weekend, Matt.
Yeah, Curt, Ginny Doyle just wrapped up her 16th season as the basketball coach at Richmond. Natalie Lewis finished her second year as the program's director of operations. Doyle started her Spider career as a player on the women's basketball team. She graduated in 1992. She returned to the program 7 years later as an assistant coach, and in 2011 rose to the rank of associate head coach, the program's #2 position. For a time as a player, Doyle held the national record for consecutive free throws made with 66 in a row. Natalie Lewis came to Richmond from Buffalo, New York, was a member of the Spider swim team, where she was a two-time captain. Lewis graduated from UR in 2011, started working as the director of operations in 2012. In a statement released tonight, Richmond Athletic Director Keith Gill said, quote, "Words cannot begin to express our sorrow. We are all stunned by the tragic news. Our thoughts and prayers go out to their loved ones." Matt Estreich, NBC 12.
Thanks, Matt. Let's move on now to new eyewitness video that one of our viewers captured yesterday when this very same balloon, captained by Dan Kirk, was getting ready to take off. He spoke with Mike Valerio this afternoon, and let's send it back to the studio. And Mike, walk us through what you have there. Pick up our coverage from here, and I'll check back with you later.
Okay, Curt. Well, in this video, you'll see a group gathered around the balloon and letting go for the last time. The man who captures the video tells us even when he saw the fire, he didn't know that the worst was unfolding.
But for disaster in the sky, the balloons are ready to take flight. Pilot David Robinson focuses on this one, the balloon where a fire would grow out of control.
I looked off in the distance, just saw the smoke. I caught a flash of flame and then the smoke, and I thought the flame was temporary, and then the smoke, I couldn't figure what was happening.
It was the first time David had ever watched balloons take off up close. Several are already up in the sky.
Takeoff was very simple. All the balloons were being inflated at the same time, and we were just videoing them as one would take off, one right after the other.
A group gently lets go as the balloon soars high. Then something sparks the fire.
20 minutes later, as we were leaving, they looked up and you could see a little bit of flame and smoke in the air, and were concerned but really didn't know what was going on, so just kept on going until the news hit.
But David tells us back on the ground, there were only subtle signs the situation was becoming desperate.
The only sign of something seriously wrong is there were a bunch of people, 3 more balloons getting ready to launch. They were rolling them out, and they all stopped and just started rolling them back up very quickly together.
And instead of panic, the opposite at the festival.
Quiet.
Just quiet.
Just quiet.
Stunned silence as the balloon and 3 on board drift away.
Now, if you saw the events unfold, Virginia State Police want to speak with anybody who may have seen the balloon on fire. You can call this number at the bottom of your screen, 994-5754, with any information. That number also on our website, NBC12.com. Of course, our coverage will continue in a few minutes of the deadly hot air balloon crash. We'll hear the latest on the investigation and from spectators who were in Caroline County for the first Mid-Atlantic Balloon Festival. That special report begins at 11:16 tonight. But now we need to get you caught up on some other important breaking news stories of the day. An arrest in a deadly shooting just 1 block away from the state capitol. Richmond police told me they arrested this man you're about to see, 27-year-old Quinn Hazelwood, and charged him with voluntary manslaughter. Police say he shot 2 men. One of those men, identified by police as Philip Nikolenko, died at the scene. This all happened around 12:30 near 10th and Main Streets, and the investigation is ongoing. While also breaking out of Chesterfield County, we're getting our first look at damage from tonight's powerful thunderstorms. You're looking at one Home Alone Folkestone Drive where a tree slams into a house. We're told the home is not a total loss by any measure and nobody was injured at the time. We've also received viewer reports of large hail coming down in Emporia. And with that, let's send it over to meteorologist Ross Runner. And Ross, some of those storms were simply pretty severe. In fact, got pretty nasty right here at the station.
That's right, Mike. A lot of lightning, of course, associated with these storms. We had reports of hail up to the size of quarters. We had some wind damage reports, actually. I got reports of some trees down over near Hampton-Sydney College over in Prince Edward County with some of those wind gusts in excess of 50 miles an hour. Now, in terms of rainfall, these are the numbers we've been seeing on the Elephant Insurance WeatherNet sites, from anywhere around 1/3 of an inch in Hopewell at City Hall, just over 1/2 an inch in Woodlake at the Millwood School, almost 3/4 of an inch here at our television station on the south side of Richmond. And notice how temperatures have really cooled down, low to middle 60s after a high of 83. That certainly was a lot cooler than we've been in recent days. And notice the airport only picking up about 1/4 of an inch. There were actually some spots in Chesterfield, Amelia counties picking up more than 1 inch of rain. So the rainfall totals tended to vary considerably over the area. Current numbers mid-60s to around 70. Still is quite humid out there as well. But as we see on first warning Doppler radar, the thunderstorms have really fizzled out. We have a few leftover showers. These are very light showers, though, in Surrey, Sussex counties out towards the Middle Peninsula. And I think these will really start to fade away in the coming hours as we have drier air coming in from the west and northwest. There's a front still situated to the north and west of us. It's basically going to stay there. If anything, it's going to fizzle out over the next 12 hours or so, and that will bode well as we look ahead to the Mother's Day forecast. Now, your wake-up weather, we'll have our sunrise time at 6:04 in the morning. Still some leftover clouds. I wouldn't even rule out a patch or two of fog. I don't think that's going to be a widespread problem, but temperatures basically going nowhere from where they are now, maybe dropping a few more degrees, right around 64 degrees at 7 o'clock. The hour-by-hour forecast, as we take you through the rest of the overnight hours, maybe a spotty leftover shower, mainly east of I-95. Patch or two of fog early in the morning. Notice how we have a little bit of lingering cloudiness. That will give way to partly to mostly sunny skies and slim to no chance of rain as we head through the afternoon. So if you do have some plans to be outside with mom, maybe you have a backdoor barbecue plan for her tomorrow afternoon, I think the weather will cooperate more so than it did today. So we'll have 64 degrees, a little patchy fog possible early, and then partly to mostly sunny skies as we go through the day. 79 degrees at noontime. Our high temperature right around 85. So temperature's pretty similar to what we had today, maybe just a few degrees warmer. And as we look ahead in the 7-day forecast, we actually have some pretty hot days on the way Monday and Tuesday. Near 90, mostly sunny skies for Monday, lower 90s on Tuesday. An isolated storm possible late in the day, but watch how these rain chances really ramp up Wednesday into Thursday. We have a 40% chance of afternoon and evening showers and storms on Wednesday, a high of 86 degrees. We're getting cooler. Thursday, a high of 81, but a 70% chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms that I think will linger into the night as well, as we have a strong front coming in from the west. Lots of moisture riding north along this out of the Gulf of Mexico. Now, I still think there'll be some showers and storms around Friday afternoon and again Saturday afternoon as the temperatures are cooler in the 70s. So it looks like a good-looking Mother's Day on the way for all our moms around Central Virginia tomorrow. Mike?
Certainly good news for all the moms out there. Ross, thanks. Well, this morning, runners hit the Richmond pavement, all in a race for the cure. NBC 12's very own Sabrina Squire and Andrew Frieden joined thousands on Browns Island for this year's Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure. Survivors and their families and friends gathered to participate, and new this year, a mobile mammography unit. We spoke to one woman who says her reasons for running are personal, since she lost her mom to breast cancer 4 years ago.
It's my job to go out into communities and teach underserved women, underserved populations about their risks. And I taught my friends about their risks and what they should be doing and to lead healthier lives.
Isn't that crowd out there? Well, as you can see, a lot of people were out to support the Race for the Cure this morning. For more information on this huge event, you can check out our website, NBC12.com. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. I'm Mike Valerio. Stay with us. Our coverage continues on the deadly hot air balloon accident. Our NBC 12 special report begins in just 2 minutes. We'll see you soon, and until then, enjoy your evening.
families.
These are life-threatening seizures.
We have no other options.
I really can't afford to wait.
Turning to medical marijuana to help their children. Rachel DePompa investigates how far these Virginia parents are going to stop their child's suffering.
We're not advocating for legalization.
Sunday at 11.